Hi everybody, I'm John Galante. I'm the president of AE Ventures, the folks that produce the TecHome Builder summits. And I'm coming to you today to provide you with an update on where things stand as of September 2020 for AE Ventures, our events, the markets that we serve, just wanting to try to give you our view of the way forward and see if it matches up with your viewpoints so we can all hopefully be a little bit more on the same page. So there's three things I really want to cover today. I want to talk about the market. It's been a very interesting year, and there's some market facts that have arrived that I think you'll want to take a look at and think about. I want to talk about how our event lineup is evolving, and I also want to talk about how it is that we're working around the COVID pandemic. So before I get into those three items, I just want to give you a little flavor for how we've been coping as an organization with the pandemic's impact. Early on, Nancy Franco, co-founder of the company along with me, we sat down in March and we said, we're going to always have a thesis on what's going to happen next and on how we should be arraying our products and services accordingly. And we're also going to understand that that thesis needs to be constantly reevaluated, and that change is going to be the norm. But we felt like you're lost if you don't have a thesis as to what's happening and what the way forward is. So we've had that as kind of a mantra, a guidepost for us as we've gone through the last several months. So let's talk about the housing market. In July, there were 901,000 housing starts. That was up almost 14% from the previous month. And this is the highest housing starts number since 2006. So we all know what was going on in the mid-2000s. We were actually in the midst of a kind of unprecedented boom of housing in those mid-2000s. So here we are in the middle of this pandemic. It's July, and we've hit a number that gets us back to those go-go years in the mid-2000s. And while starts overall for the first half of the year were down considerably, almost 9%, permitted value, which is a longer-term indicator, about 7 months out from completion, permitted value of housing was actually up 4.4% in the first half of 2020. So in the midst of this, the economy being bombarded with these pandemic impacts, permitted value goes up 4.4%. And there are about 24 states where it's growing at double that average, actually. And then finally, just looking ahead to what the associations and agencies that track housing are looking at for 2021, the projection is starts will be up 8.6% in 2021, and single-family starts will grow particularly strongly to 11.9% is the projection there. Not as rosy a story on the multifamily side of things. And what we're really seeing is what I'm calling urban outflows, right? We had 10 years of urban inflows, starting with the Great Recession in 2009 or so. Everybody, boomers and millennials flooding the inner cities, a lot of it being tier 1 cities. Now with these liberal work from home policies, folks are escaping the cities. It could be for health reasons, it could be to get more space in their living accommodations, it could be just because they're done with the city, but we're definitely seeing urban outflows. Multifamily permitted value is going to be down in 2020, and the starts will be basically flat. And so what we're looking at is single family in the suburbs, the exurbs, the tier 1, tier 2 cities and towns. Okay, and when we're talking about going to the suburbs, and if there's limited existing home inventory available, I think what we're going to see is a heck of a lot of home building done to meet that demand. And it's home building that's for moneyed buyers who had extremely high property values or had high incomes from living in these big metro areas, who are ready to spend significant sums on new housing in suburbs, exurbs, et cetera. So we could be in the beginning of a boom or a boomlet for housing. We'll have to see how it shapes up, but the early indicators are very interesting. I think on top of that, there's a qualitative difference that's hitting the market as well, which is the amount of time that people are spending in their homes, again, kind of COVID prompted, but liberal work from home policies, even after COVID, I think are going to impact this. People are spending more time in the home. They're entertaining themselves in their home. They're entertaining their friends and family at home. So the home is more lived in. And the things that the home is lived in for are tied to technology. Certainly work from home, learn from home. There's a whole suite of technologies from network infrastructure to the actual equipment by which you video conference or connect to your colleagues, very tech-centric. The AV stack of equipment has really risen in importance again because people are streaming series and getting movies that were intended for live theater release coming to the home sooner than average. So everyone's looking to up their game on the AV quality side of things. Healthy home is a huge trend. You want that home to be especially efficient on the energy consumption side of things. If you're spending so much time there and using energy to keep the home hot or cool, to run your appliances. So the energy efficiency piece is important as well. And healthy home, I think I said that before, but healthy home's huge. Safety and security. If you're in that home, you want it to be safe. You want the perimeter of the home to be something that you can see. You want good door control because you have a lot of deliveries and such coming to that door. So tech is really part of the package of deliverables that the home buyer is demanding. And my read in discussions with builders, and we've been working on this for almost 20 years now, but it's not a question of if technology should be included in an important part of the offer. It's a question of how am I going to do it? It's not a question of when. The answer is now. And the other question is with whom? With which partners will I be working with to deliver these tech features? So robust, dynamic market where tech is one of the centerpieces of demand. That's what we see in the market. As far as our event lineup, so we're like every other in-person event organizer in the United States. We've been constrained from doing the thing that we've been doing the longest and doing the best, our hosted in-person TecHome Builder summits. We just have not had the conditions to safely execute that. So for many months, since March in fact, we've been really working hard to determine what a productive play could be in terms of an online virtual event. We could have done a Band-Aid, right? We could have just put something up to put something up and keep our brand alive. But I'm really proud that our team has dug in and done the planning and the research to get to what we think is going to be an extremely compelling online summit at the end of September. So we've got a very strong, easily navigated platform as a starting piece. We have 150 vendors participating in this, and we'll have somewhere between 150 to 200 presentations from these tech vendors. So that will run the gamut from 30-minute boardroom presentations, kind of a deep dive, to the 15-minute flyovers, lots of vendor-given presentations, really rich information booths for the attendees to browse. And we're really going over the top on the general session content as well, working with our friends at BDX on the video production to make it feel like a live cable news broadcast, making all of this searchable by product category, by market segment, adding tool sets so that if you hear something interesting and you've got some prompts to take action, you have some resources at your fingertips that you can bring into the equation. We're really pushing for builders and multifamily companies to bring the team to this event, right? You're not constrained by these time and space constraints. So you could get more of your in-house team to see the same products and presentations and have the discussions together. You could get your trade allies, your subcontractors and integrators who you work with on the same page, and then you're ready to roll. So we've focused on kind of really having high production values, having a good variety of content for the builders, and then making sure that this is stuff that they can put to work right away, because the home buyer wants it and they want it right away. And it's not just the home tech piece, it's the digital marketing and sales technologies that the builders need to meet the buyer where they are. So in many ways, this is really what TecHome Builder was built for, is this moment where you have such strong demand and you have such need on the part of the builder to really get their technology strategy and their partnerships up and running 100%. So online summit September 29 through 30, and then December 1 through 3, we feel very good about producing our first in-person event of the year in that time frame, the TecHome Builder Summit in Phoenix. Now, we've been monitoring the situation with the virus nationwide, worldwide, in Arizona in particular. And I'll get into a little more detail on everything we've done in that regard, but the latest data points, and we source these from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, their COVID analytics project, the latest projections for active cases, that's the number of folks who are infected in Arizona, are dropping from almost 21,000 on September 1 to just 1,100 and change on November 15th. Hopefully we would be under 1,000 on December 1 when we actually produce the event. We don't have that projection just yet, but we will shortly. Overall in the US, active cases will drop from 712,000 on September 1 to under 200,000 on November 15. So, we look at the infection rates based on the population, and we have developed a model where we can understand whether the overall environment, considering the mitigation measures we'll put in place, and enable us to produce a safe event. And we're very confident that if these trend lines stay in place or get better, we're going to be able to produce a safe event. And so that's what we're all geared up to do, right? We're going to work with our sponsors to, hopefully we'll up the game even on the in-person presentation side of things as a result of what we're doing on the online summit side of things. And we feel, based on our phone contact with the attendees, the higher level, the VIP level players in the home building space, that there is pent-up demand for an in-person event on technology as well as the online piece. And we're going to help folks understand what you can do in person that you can't do online. Online is a great way to get breadth of coverage and to get a lot of information, but we all know that your vendor relationships aren't just about information, they're about a chemistry meld, finding the right personal connections between a vendor team and your team. So that's a dimension that really in-person serves well. Plus the interactivity of in-person really helps you cover more ground from a logical perspective, and the peer bonding opportunities are considerably higher. So we feel like there's a place for both things, the online event to serve a broader audience, and the in-person event to really go deeper and go farther and faster. So that's what's coming up in 2020, and we've got 2 in-person events and more online summits planned for 2021. I did want to just dive a little bit into this rabbit hole that we chased down this summer and actually ended up resulting in a little bit of what I call a hacker project. It's called the COVID Risk Navigator. So this is our work with the MIT active case projections, putting it into a well-organized geographical array, bouncing it against populations to get infection rates, and then also factoring in mitigation measures like mask wearing, social distancing, et cetera, to get to put a number on your risk. So this is important for us, but we think this is a tool that could be useful for any company that's conducting an in-person activity. And that can be in-person activity as in reopening an office. It could be in-person activity as in a retail establishment, field sales work, field project work. So we built this as a free tool for anybody and everybody, including our competitors. Download this XLS spreadsheet. It'll help you get quick at a glance sense of where it's maybe safe or safer to conduct some of these in-person activities. And with our calculators, you can get to a sense for whether it's a risk that your company and your employees and your customers, that's a sensible risk for folks to take. You can't ever get to 100% safety in anything you do. So we've got to figure out a way to work around this, and that's all we're trying to do with the COVID Risk Navigator. It's been helpful to us. We hope it's helpful to you. And we'll put the information up on a slide here so you can link to the Navigator and download the XLS yourselves. But I think that's all the news that's fit to print from AE Ventures right now in September. We will continue to have a thesis. We will continue to update and evaluate our thesis. And we'll let you know when there are substantial changes in what we see and what we're doing. I wish you all well in coping with this uncertainty. I want to counsel you to come up with your own theses. And if you want to just bounce stuff off of us, feel free to contact me. I'm going to give you my mobile number. You can call me anytime. It's 703-585-2148. We're looking forward to seeing you all virtually at our online summit in September, at the end of September, 29 and 30, and to seeing a bunch of you in Phoenix December 1 through 3. Thanks.